Hello, I'm Doug.
Hello, I'm Elsie.
It's lovely to meet you, Elsie. I'm looking forward to talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Elsie, when and where were you born?
I was born in Darwin Street, Lower Darwin Street, in Birmingham, number 11, Lower Darwin Street. And there's a Darwin Street at the top, and ours was Lower Darwin Street, a little lane, like. And we used to, when we were little, my mum had 9 children, and we was all in one house with 2 bedrooms. We used to sleep top and tail at the beds, and we used to have, I used to sleep in a cot, because I was that small, but my mum used to put us over the road. We got like a pub with a corner in it, so my mum used to put the dog, Little Bloss it was called, Little Black Dog, and she used to guard us from going to the road. She used to push us back or bark and tell me mum that we'd moved, and she used to push us back. So with that, that's how we went on until we was about, and we had a toilet round the back, which was wood, and a long, with just a hole in the middle, and we had to go up the yard for that. And then there was a boiler house, but we used to light the boiler so as my mum could boil the washing, and that's where she used to wash. And we used to come back, seize the boiler and stick it up with coke into the boiler to keep it going boiling. And then, as I say, at night when I went to the toilet, this wood, it was horrible. So I wouldn't go on my own because of the rats at the back. I said there was rats all over the place. But from then on, we started to be all right. But in September the 3rd, 1939, war broke out.
You were born in 1924, so when you left school, it would have been 1938. Where did you go to school and where did you work? Where was your first job?
First job was hauling lanes on seaside buckets, making buckets for the seaside. I did that job. And then we had a letter to say that I've got to go into the war. So we had to go to the BSA or one of them jobs. We had to go in one of the Austin, BSA or Lucas's. Got to go in one of those 3. So I went to BSA in Shirley.
What was the BSA and why did you choose it?
It was the only job I could get at the time. And it was all days and not nights. My dad wouldn't let me work nights. So Marshall Lake Road was the only place I could go all day. And 7-day week we worked, 7 till 7. We used to leave about 6:10, 6, something like that. It depended on whether we finished the job or not. But we used to make the guns there and send them. But the BSA in Golden Hillock Road was the BSA. It was a big one, and it had all the machinery. It made like the tanks, parks for the tanks, things like that. We only made the guns. And I used to work in the Browning shop, what they call the Browning shop. You used to have to get it when it was silver, but by the time I'd finished with it, put it into a steamer, bring it out, do it again, put it back in the steamer at BSA. And then when it come out, it was black. Then you used to have to polish it on a polisher. Then that gun would go along the track to somebody else to redo the gun completely. And then from there, and then on the back. Then my mum and my sister worked at Golden Hillock Road BSA. That was the biggest one, because that was the big one that was built before the war. But when the war started, there wasn't supposed to be a war. what's his name?
Chamberlain? Neville Chamberlain.
Chamberlain. When Chamberlain came back from seeing the Germans, he waved a paper in the air and said there was no going to be no war. And on the 3rd of September 1939, the Germans was coming over. We hadn't been warned. Nothing. Just these balloons in the air and these little flare bombs, as we call them, would come down and set fire to things. It would all go up. And from there on, we used to say, oh my God, you know, what's that? Then we found out that the war was out. No lights. We had to have blackout curtains. And if you showed a light, you get pinched. Police would be there. You couldn't show a light at all. We had to go out in the dark everywhere. It was terrible. We used to have a little lamp torch. It used to lead us where we were going. But you got to turn that torch on. If the police were there, he'd shout, "Put that light out!" and carry on. Anyway, after that we went to Warstock. We left Darwin Street in the August as the war broke out in the September. That was it. And we lived at Warstock at the time. And when we was there, we was happy. But of course, war broke out in September. So there was these flares going everywhere. And I used to go to work on the 24 bus from here. And that was it.
What was Warstock like at that time?
We used to have to get up the bus, the 18 bus, at the ballet, down the bottom of the road. And we used to have to walk all up the road to Daisy Farm Road. And it was quite a walk, over the canal bridge and past the bus stop, well, bus garage now, past there, right the way up. It was quite all right there, but we had to walk down for a bus to where the garage is today, to go anywhere. There was only one bus, 24. And we used to get on the 24 bus and go off. Well, before the bombing of the BSA, I used to work 7-day week. So I thought, I got a day off, I got the pictures today. So I went to the Piccadilly in Stratford Road to see Ace Behind the Mask. I remember that well because it was a horrible film. And I came back, and when the air raid was on, it put it on the screen. The sirens have gone. If you wish to leave, please leave quietly. I thought I better go home. My dad will be waiting on the gate. So I go down the steps of the Piccadilly, and luckily I got on a 24 bus. And when we got to here, by your school, by the park, Swanhills Park, when we got there, everybody had got to get off the bus. And I thought, oh my word, I'm walking. So I carried on walking, but you're supposed to go down the shelter, but I wasn't going down. So I walked on, and when we got by the fire station, there was this big Bertha, a big gun in the park, bigger. And when I got by there, this soldier come out, halt, who goes there, friend or foe, put a gun in front of my face. So I looked at him and I said, friend, stand aside, friend, to be recognised, he said. So I stood aside and he said, where do you think you're going? I said, I'm going home. He said, you can't walk. He said, they're over the top, he said, and they're machine gunning. I said, don't care, I've still got to go home. I said, my dad will be by the gate waiting for me. Oh no, I said, I've still got to go. So he said, wait, the police station was over the other side of the road. So he gets a policeman to come with me, walk all the way home. And this policeman put his tin hat on me, which was that heavy. I said, I can't wear that, it's too heavy. So he took that off me and put my helmet on my head. And we were walking along. We got home eventually, and he had a cup of cocoa, because that was what we used to drink.
Yeah.
He had a cup of cocoa, and I said, thank you very much. And my dad was on the gate waiting.
Yes, yes.
He was in the ARP.
Right.
He was. He controls the roads, you know, sees everything's in order. And he said, where you been? I said, I told you I was going to the Piccadilly. He says, I know, but you're a bit late. I said, I walked. So he said, oh, I'm wondering about you. So anyway, we get to that, and then where did I go the next night? Oh, we had a raid, and after that, after we had the raid, I said, I'm going to see my friend down in Alcester Street. That was down Birmingham. And I get down there, and it's still dropping these flares all over. And I said to my friend, her name was Elsie, I said, Elsie, I've got to go home. I said, because if it gets worse, Dad will be mourning it again. So she says, all right. So off I went back home.
Right.
And when we got home, that was the night they bombed the BSA. And I got a day off, because every 7 weeks you had a day off. So I must have had a day off that day, because I was at home. And Mum didn't want to go to the BSA. She didn't want to go to work that night. And Dolly said, you'll have to go in front of the office tomorrow. She says, I don't care, I'm not going tonight. So Dolly went to work, of course. And this little girl used to come to the house and stop with me when I was there and wait for her daddy to come home from work, because her mother had gone to work with Dolly. And she was about 3 or 4. And she used to say, I'll stop with Elsie. And she used to stop with me till her dad come home. Then he'd take her home. That little girl's mum never come back.
Oh.
She come to our house one day, she said, is my mummy coming home? I could have cried my eyes up. But anyway, that was the night they went to work. And we had this, like a 13-hour. They went in the morning and they come back at night. And we was being bombed all over the place. But they went to Birmingham then.
City centre?
Yes. And they done the fish market first in Birmingham Bullring. They done that fish market with the animals as well. I was ashamed. And I said to our dad, aren't they horrible? So he said, it's more else. He said, nothing you can do about it. It's like the 1914 war, he said. He said, but they're better off today than we was. So I said, oh God. Anyway, on the night we was sitting there and there was bombing all over the place. Me and my brother was doing our walls in the living room with, what do you call it?
Warpamure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pink it was. And our dad said, what a horrible colour. How we done that? And then all of a sudden, this bombing come. You could hear it. You could hear it and it was in town. And I said to our dad, oh, somebody's getting it terrible. He says, oh no. So we sat there, we had our cocoa. We didn't go to bed till 12 o'clock. And I said to our dad, they're still over, aren't they? He said, yes. He said, we ought to go down the shelter. I said, I ain't going down the shelter. Oh, it's too cold. So he said, oh. Anyway, the next morning we found out that the BSA in Goldillock Road had had a direct hit. Now, the BSA was built stupid because on top of the BSA was power presses, which was great big power presses. You put your foot on, move your hand. The guard used to push your hand back. My mum worked on that one. And my sister was on the hand presses, one you pull round. And then at the bottom was the packing. Well, it hit the top. Of course, all the presses went straight down. Nobody had a chance. Because you got 2 lights in there, a blue one and a red one. The blue was to say they were over, and the red one was for danger. And apparently when they used to go down to the shelter, they had quite a way from here to the bottom of this road to get to the shelter.
Right.
And it was all between his, you know, and they'd only got a little light to get through. One woman had got it. But of course they didn't get down to the shelter.
Right.
They was hit, direct hit on the top, not once but twice. And of course the whole lot just dropped on them. Nobody got a chance to get out. And I said to her, Dad, they'll all be dead. So he said, no, they won't all be dead. I said, I'm going down to find our Dolly. So he said, you are? I said, yes. When I got down there, you ought to see it. It was a terrible sight. People were there trying to find their people, their husbands and wives and sons and daughters. And you couldn't see nothing. Only dust, bricks and mortar. It was terrible. And they was digging out. And I was asking, have you seen Dolly Heath? Have you seen Dolly Heath? No, they hadn't seen her. I walked round there for 2 hours looking for her, couldn't find her.
Right.
But I thought if she's in the hand press and the power presses come on top of her, she'd be dead. Anyway, I went round and round, I couldn't find her. I went home. I said to my dad, I can't find Dolly. He said, she's nowhere about. I said, nowhere.
Right.
I said, I was looking for the other women and men. I said, they couldn't find them either. So we sat there waiting. And we got no showers then. We had to have a bath. But you got to put the hot water on in the boiler for the bath. And I got that going, but in case she came home, which she did. And about 3 hours after she came, oh, she was just like a tramp.
Right.
She was as black as the grate. Her overalls and her dress, got no handbag, lost all the lot. Her overalls and her dress was all torn. And I said, oh, here she is. Oh, you're safe. And she said, yes. She says, what a day. So I said, I'll put the bath on. I said, I'll put it in the bath for you. You didn't have a bath. So I said, how did you get home with no money? She said, I got to the bus stop. The driver said, oh my God. She says, I got to go to the bus stop, but I got no money. Get on the bus, he said. So we put her on the bus, brought her all the way home, because it was the turning bus anyway. He got out the bus and brought her to the house.
Right.
Walked with her to the house, brought her in. She had a bath and all this, and I said, where were you? I said, I was looking everywhere for you, and I couldn't find you. So she said, I had to go into a secret room. I said, what for? She said, I had to swear to secrecy. I said, what about? She said, the light. I said, what was wrong with the light? The blue one was on. She said, but they never put the red one on.
Right.
She said, and that's what we had to go and swear to secrecy, to say we wouldn't say nothing.
Right.
So I said, oh my God. So that was that. And as I say, they made a memorial there now, which about time, it's been 70 years. And they've made this war memorial.
How did Dolly survive the bomb attack?
She must have rolled over, I should think, because she said, when I got out, I had to move all the things off me, she said, and the dirt, she said, and the firemen and different people was putting the shovels in. She said, when I got my legs out. I said, oh, good. She said, that's how I got out. I practically crawled out. She said, but the other one behind me, that was her friend, apparently. She got out as well. I said, oh, good. I said, what about the little girl's mum? She said, I don't know. I don't know what happened to her, she said. I couldn't find her. She said, I looked for her, but I couldn't find her. I said, oh my God, thank God you're old. And as I say, the chappie came to see us after they got the things, you know, and all these people underneath the ground. And they was all dead anyway. And he said, I lost, what was her name? Alice, I think. I think it was Alice. I lost Alice. I says, where? He says, in that moment. He said, her mum's not going to come back.
Mm.
And of course, that upset me as well.
Mm.
And I said, oh my God, I said, it's terrible.
Mm.
It was terrible. But I've honoured them at the moment. I'm pleased
Absolutely.
about that.
Yeah.
Because people can go and put flowers on now,
Yeah.
where they couldn't before.
No.
It was a load of rubbish,
Mm.
you know, more dirt. But now they can go and put flowers on.
Yes.
And I'm pleased about that.
Mm.
They've only just done that though.
Yes, yes, a couple of
Yeah.
years back. Mm.
Mhm. And then another time, I was down at my sister's in Lombard Street.
Right.
She lived, and the break came, and I'm a fish shop devil. My lady, I used to go to the fish and chip shop,
Right.
Mrs. Borden. I used to go over there and have a chat to her, and Mr. Ward and her was at this fish and chip shop just across the road from where the shelter was. Go get some fish and chips, Else. Okay. I used to go over and get the fish and chips. Well, I went over this one night, and a friend of ours called Bob, he was in the army, and he come over to see where I was, because I was yapping with Mrs. Wharton and Mr. Wharton. Mr. Wharton came out the fish shop, walked up towards MacDonald Street,
Right.
you know, to have a look around. The sirens had gone, and he come over and I got the fish and chips. We came back, and as I went coming back, he, get down, he said, lie down flat. I said, what you playing at? He's on top of me.
Yeah.
I said, what you doing? He said, just lie there. And I lay there, and Mrs. Warden was bummed.
Oh, crumbs.
Yeah, she got out,
Mm.
but he was up the road.
Mm.
He was blown across the road, of course, and he came back to find Mrs. Warden. She was in between the fish baking, you know, and the counter.
Right.
But she was standing up, but she just moved from there. If she'd have stopped there,
Mm.
she would have been dead. But she had to go in hospital for quite a while,
Mm.
and Mrs. Warden did.
Mm.
I got up from there, right, got back to the shelter. You had to get out of that shelter to go to Mr. Jelp's shelter up the road.
Right.
That was one. We had to come out of there and walk up to Alcester Street by, it used to be the Routen House, it's a hotel now.
Oh, I know it, yes. Yeah.
It was a Routen House where the old people met,
Yes,
you know.
yes,
used to
tramps
go.
and things,
Yeah,
yeah.
tramps and that.
Yeah.
And walking up there, so I got my niece in my arms. She was only about 3 weeks old, with a white shawl. It was moonlight night. We were walking up Alcester Street to go to the church, down into their shelter. And as we walked along, he was machine gunning us.
Right, crumbs.
And the policeman took his coat off, put it over Ben's shawl, and it was machine. You could see the machine, the holes in the wall when we come back.
Right.
Yeah,
Where
where
the
the
bullets
tri-
had gone.
Yeah, when we got to the shelter, there they was singing, playing the accordion,
Mm.
thoroughly enjoyed themselves. There was also crying.
Yes, yes.
No, these bullets, you know, go around.
Mm.
It was frightening that night, I
Mm.
tell you.
Mm.
Yes, it really was bright. I thought I got it,
Mm.
you know, because the way he was machine gunning us.
Yes.
As we walked along the road, we
Yes.
was trying to run, you know, walk.
Mm.
And as I say, the policeman put his cape
Mm.
over
The
Bet's
white shawl.
white shawl.
Mm.
Oh, I said to our boss, never again.
Mm.
I hope this never happens again.
Mm.
She said it won't. I said, I hope to God it don't.
Mm.
So we went into the shelter and had a cup of cocoa. And that went on for about 12 hours.
Mm.
You know, different things was
Right.
happening all
Mm.
the while.
Mm.
And I said, I'd love to shoot him. But the Spitfires used to come.
Yes.
And when they come, we know we were safe.
Yes. Yeah.
Them Spitfires done a lot of work. They brought one down. My other friend I worked with at the BSA, Eva, She lived in Earlswood by the lakes.
I know it, yeah.
And I went to see her this one night. I said to her, Dad, I'm going to see Eva. So I was okay. So I went to see Eva this one night, and I knew there was a plane come down, but we didn't know where it was.
Mm.
And they caught the
Right.
pilots. They were prisoners of war, of course.
Mm.
And I went to Eva's. Look, this soldier was there with his thing across. All two goes there. She came out the house. She said, it's all right, she's a friend of mine. So he let me in. I said, what's going on? Come on, I'll show you. And I said, well, come on, I'll show you. So we walked down the garden, and as we got down the garden, there was this big plane
Right.
in the back of her garden and next door's,
Right.
with the wings all across. I said, oh my God. Tail was up in the air, his body was dead body. I said, oh, good grief. I said, did you hear it? She said, hear it? She said, we melted. We had a laugh over it, you know. And I said, who caught the men? She said, the villagers.
Right.
She said, they run away, tried to run away.
Mm.
She said, I got one of the parachutes. I said, you didn't? She
Right.
said, I did. Because it wasn't on Dodge Sea.
Yeah.
It was still in the pack.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I should keep that if I was you. She said, oh, don't worry, I'm going to.
Yes.
So, of course, she got this parachute. And I said, they're prisoners of war now. She said, yes. She said, I nearly shot them myself. We had a laugh, you know. But we had some fun during the war.
Why did your friend keep the parachute?
She wanted to show her children when they got old, when she got married and got children.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep it forever, she said.
Right.
She said, there might be one of them might use it for something.
Right.
So whether she's used it for a wedding dress, I don't know. But she was only as old as me, of course.
Right.
We wasn't thinking of getting married.
No.
No way. And I said to her, well, what do you think, go in the water?
Yes. In the lakes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So she said, you ain't far from the lake, you see.
Mm. Mm.
Her house is here, and the lake was about
Mm.
a yard away from her.
Mm.
But of course, where he came down was in the back of her garden, and
Right.
next door's garden,
Yes. Yes.
with his nose down.
Right.
Yeah. But they were both alive.
Mm.
Both the Joes, pity they're all dead, I said. But then the Spitfires used to come up.
Mm.
When they come up, you know USA,
Mm.
they used to start out of a fire at about,
Right.
oh yes, boom.
Yeah.
The planes used to try and get away from them, you see.
Mm.
But I don't know what happened after that.
What was the sky like during the raid?
Oh, it was dark before the raid. Light colour. And then when the raids were on, it was very dark. And when the searchlights went up, it was as blue as a bluebell.
Mm.
You could see everything in the sky.
Mm.
It was all one way and the other. They used to go one side to the other side, round this side and then that side. That was all over the place in the sky, all blue. It was gorgeous, really, when you looked at it. You thought you got the rainbow.
Yeah.
But yes, they were very good.
Mm.
Yeah.
When you were in Warstock, there wasn't a lot of bombing. What was the raid? What did
Oh.
you see the raids or?
We had 1 or 2 fires in there from the little bombs that used to fire, leaflets, what I used to call them.
Mm.
They used to call them light bombs.
Mm.
In the basket. We used to have fire up there,
Mm.
but no bombs. But this one night my dad went on patrol
Mm.
and he was out in Arlington Road. And I made the cocoa for him for when he come back. And George and I were sitting there. I said to her, George, that's a plane up at the top. Because boo, 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 that was the way they
Mm.
used to come over. And he said, yes, it is. We put the light out and we opened the door to have a look. We could see him going across. I said to her, George, where's he going? He said, I don't know. So I said, where's our dad? He said, it was round the corner in Arlington Road. I said, oh, good. And my dad come in They dropped a bomb in Arlington Road. They dropped this bomb, bang. And Dad was just up the entry. He was saved with the entry.
Right.
Because the road had got a big hole in it.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a great big bomb, but it was a bomb. And it was all black. When he come in, I said, "Oh, Dad," he said, "I thought I got it then."
Yeah.
He said, "That bloody bomb nearly had me." I said, "Where were you?" He said, "Up the entry."
Yes.
And he had a cup of cocoa and went back. And I said, "Nobody's hurt." He said, "No. No, they're in the shelter. Nobody was hurt." So nobody in Warstock got hurt.
No.
No. Only our dolly. My mum didn't go to work that night. But that's about it.
Yeah. How did you enjoy yourself in the war?
I used to go dancing and get a night off. I used to go to the Bilsey Common. I used to go in town to the casino. And I used to go 1 or 2 places during the war. But you couldn't do anything else because there was nothing else to do. So I used to dance. And I used to thoroughly enjoy it. And one night we was coming home from town. We were walking. And the Americans was there.
Right.
I didn't like the Americans. There was too fast, too much.
Yes.
And we were walking along the road. This jeep pulled up.
Right.
2 in the front. There's 4 of us. And he said, "Get in, girls, and go get our left." So, of course, we said, we lived the other side. He said, "We'll take you home." So, of course, we got in. It did take us home.
Right.
But I used to work at, first of all, when I used to work before that, when the Americans first came over, I used to work at night, earning extra pennies at the cafe in Liberty Street by the station.
Right, yes, I know it.
And the soldiers used to come in. And I used to have about 5 tables to serve.
Yes.
And we were there one night and I used to go through the churchyard home to get my bus.
Right.
24. And this one night I went home and these airmen, Americans, were playing me up. One was in one tree, one was in the other. They used to jump on me. It was being dark, it frightened me to death.
Yeah.
And when I got to work the next day, I said to Mrs. Woolwich, that's the woman that owned the cab, I said, "I go through the churchyard tonight." She says, "Why?"
Yes.
"Oh," I said, "them airmen," I said, "them living Americans, they're jumping on me." She said, "Right." And in comes this officer, American officer, and she's telling him about it. So he said, "Tonight you go through the churchyard." And I said, "No," I said, go through that churchyard. So I looked at him, I said, "All right." He said, "I'll be behind you." And he waited for the one to jump on me, then the other one, he shouted, "Halt! Stay where you are!"
Yeah.
Red caps come,
Yeah.
took them both away. So they were in trouble, I tell you. I don't know what happened to the poor soul, but they was in trouble. And he was telling me he got a wife and 2 children in America. And he said, "I miss them so much." I said, "I bet you do." Stopped to eat till the bus come. He was very nice, he was. Yet those 2 was playing me up like one o'clock. And then, when I was a waitress, they used to get the soldiers up there that come from perhaps D-Day or something like that. And the one come in, he'd got 2 pence.
Right.
That's all he got. And he said, "Can I get a cup of tea for this?" I said, "Come in here, sit there." So he sat on the seat. I brought him a meal. Then I brought him a pudding. He said, "I can't make." He had a meal, he had a pudding, he had 2 cups of tea. And he was as black as a grave though, shaved up like. And he said, "I can't pay you." I said, "That's all right, I'll put it down, I'll get it off the Americans."
Yeah.
They got the money, I said. So when I used to charge them, I'd charge them for them as well. They never knew.
No.
And that's what I used to do. And this one day, this lady and this young man came in with 2 children. And he said, hello. I said, I don't know you.
Mm.
He said, sitting at the table. He said, you don't know me. I said, no.
Mm.
Because I mean, you see such a lot of people. And he said, I've come to pay you for my meal. I said, oh, you the soldier? He said, yes. He said, I told the wife, and she said, well, go and pay for it. I said, you won't. I said, the Americans pay for that, mate.
Yes, yeah.
I said, no way.
Mm.
You know, so that's what happened.
Yes, yeah.
But it's lovely, really, to
Yes.
think, you know.
Yes, kindness.
Yes.
Mm.
But I was always give him a cup of tea for nothing. I was a terror.
Yeah.
Well, you won't tell it. But whatever used to make our tea in them days, it was in a big pot, big urn.
Right.
And we used to put, say, 10 bags of tea bags
Right.
in the pot.
Mm.
But you fill it up to the top.
Mm.
When you got to the top, you get this bicarbonated soda
Right.
in a packet. And you had to spill that round with the second lot of tea.
Why?
It's strong, it made it stronger.
Right.
Made the tea go
Go
more
further, yeah.
than you would do.
Yeah.
But when she first told me, I thought, you can't do
No,
that.
I wanted to say.
And she said, no, well, Elsie, she said, just take the top off.
Yeah.
Yes. She said, then when you fill it up with water, you do that.
Right.
All right. I thought, oh my word alive.
Mm.
Anyway, that's what we did.
Mm.
But I thoroughly enjoyed the cafe,
Mm.
working at night. You know, find me something to do, you say. Then I used to go dancing Saturdays.
Right, right.
Right.
Yes, yes. What was when you went dancing? What was it like?
We used to meet. There used to be about 12 of us all together.
Mm.
Can't think of all the names of them now. But we used to have a lot of fun. And we had what they call prime dancing. You had to have another couple come over to meet your couple.
Mm.
Like, it was like, what would you say?
Exchange or
Yes.
Mm.
And they used to go battle. And there was all real dancers.
Mm.
They wasn't just ordinary dancers like us.
Mm.
A ballroom dancing.
Yes.
That's it, got it. And they used to come over from their ballroom to our ballroom
Right.
and go together.
Mm.
And this one night, Frank said to me, I remember Frank, he said to me, I dare you. I said, well, I'd only just learned to dance, mind you.
Mm.
He said, I dare you to tag that chap.
Right.
Because it was a tag waltz.
Okay.
And he was a ballroom dancer.
Mm.
And I said, no. He said, I dare you.
Mm.
I said, don't dare me, because you know what I'll do.
Yes.
Which I did.
Yes.
I got up and touched his arm.
Yeah.
This girl walked away.
Yeah.
I danced with him. I told him what was happening. He said,
Yeah.
well, just keep going. Don't look at your feet.
Mm.
I said, I ain't a real dancer. He said, just keep going. Don't look at your feet. And I danced lovely with him.
Right.
And he said, you've really done well. I said, thank you very much. Wait till I get back there. I said, tell them. So, of course, when I got back, I said, there you are. I told you not go.
Yes.
Else I never thought you'd do it. We used to have a lot of fun at the dancing,
Mm.
really. I used to look forward to going.
Mm.
We used to go Wednesday to Moseley. That was by the depot, the
Right.
tram depot,
I know it. Yes.
the old tram. We used to go in there
Mm.
with Billy Lee. That was the one that run the club.
Right.
And we used to go to the Carlton. Yes, in town. What was the other place we used to go to? It's, oh crikey. Still, it's not there,
Mm.
but there's a place there now where you can go in and find all the cinemas. I can't think of the name of it.
Mm. Don't worry.
Anyway, that's where we used to go.
Mm.
But of course it's not like that anymore.
Mm.
No way. But the ballroom itself was, they hit the fish market and all the poor animals, and they used to have this, what do you call it? peacocks and all them used to be there.
Right.
All of that. And Woolworths,
Right.
always.
Mm.
And there used to be an army place there where you could buy the medals and things like that.
Right.
I don't know the name of that shop.
Mm.
But that was what was there. We used to walk up the hill
Right.
and through,
That's
come
the
on
way it
to
is. Yeah.
New Street,
Mm.
you know, to get the bus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elsie, when did you meet your husband?
I met my husband in Taylor's, a little shop where I worked. And it was just before the war, just after the war, I should say. It was about 45, 47, no, it'd be 47
Mm.
when I met him, first time. And then we worked together. And he used to tell me, he said, we went to Gibraltar, we went to Spain, and then we went to Gibraltar. He said, come on, I'll show you where I was.
Mm.
I said, right, good, the Navy. And he showed us where his big ship came in to Gibraltar in the dark. And he had to stay there till it was pitch dark.
Mm.
And then he said, we took out with no lights, nothing, and got out onto the sea, because war was on.
Mm.
And I says, oh, is you all right? He said, well, it was all right when we got out there, he said, but they started to bomb us as we was going along.
Right.
He said, but of course the submarine came up and had a go at him
Mm.
with us.
Mm.
He said, and it was hell to play for the first few weeks.
Mm.
He said, in that sea.
Mm.
I says, oh my word.
Mm.
So of course we went together then until 1953.
Mm.
And he said, it's about time we got married, don't you think? And I said, well, it's up to you. I don't mind. So he said, yes. So he said, he brought up me a ring, that's it.
Right.
That one.
Look at that.
Right,
That's
that
a
one.
lovely ring, lovely engagement ring.
Yeah. He brought that. It's only £8. But it was a lot of money then.
Yes.
And he came, I didn't know he got the ring. And he came to our house and he said to me, Dad, can I marry your daughter? Our dad said, take her. And we got married in February the 21st,
Right.
1953.
Lovely.
So I've been married 60 years,
Right.
21st of this month.
Right.
No, February. 21st of February.
Yes, in February. Yeah.
60 years. Oh, we've
Yes.
had a diamond wedding ring.
Yes. Yes.
Of course, he died. He died in 2008.
2008, wasn't it? Elsie, what was your husband's name?
Alexander.
Elsie, I've had a wonderful time talking to you. It's been absolutely fascinating to hear your memories of the war. It's been wonderful.
Well,
Thank you.
I've got a good memory, really.
Thank you so much.
I don't mind. I've been happy doing it.
Lovely.
It takes me back years.